NaNoWriMo has begun! Yay! And everyone who's doing it in the first few days is freaking out because it's begun and we want to get loads done before we get halfway through the month and realise that, oh god, what have we done? What have we done to ourselves? And I'm actually really glad. I'm so glad this has started because I've known I'm going to be doing this for about a month now, and I've been waiting, and waiting, so much waiting, and now I can do it. So, all the ideas that I've had up until then have all come out now, about 5,000 words-ish, which is great. That's really freaking good. So, my problem at the moment is between quality and quantity, because everyone for NaNoWriMo wants to hit 50,000 words. As I explained in my last video, mine is going to be 30,000 words, but I'm still running like as fast as I can to get as many words down as I can, and I'm not really doing what a good writer should, which is considering what I write and thinking about my choice of words. I'm just like typing words. So, some of it is really good, some of it so far, and some of it is really bad. And I think I need to achieve that sort of nice balance of I'm getting enough written every day, and that I'm not going to sleep crying my eyes out because it's the worst stuff I've ever written. However, this is NaNoWriMo, and this allows me to suck. This allows me to suck really, really bad. For a whole month, I can suck at writing. Because this is my first draft. And it can suck. And that is the great thing about writing. You can suck so bad the first time. So I'm just gonna talking because I'm like the first page from one character's perspective, because I have at the moment 3 characters, all more or less doing the same thing in different ways. And this is probably one of my favourite characters I've ever written. This is Ashley, and in the next few days I will post his character questionnaire on my VloggyWoggy, link below, because character questionnaires are really useful, and I'll talk more about that later as well. So, here we go. He almost didn't open his eyes at first. The heavy lids fought against his desire to wake, so much so that he began to believe he had died. But eventually they opened, greeted as they always were by the low grey sky of England and a white gush of cloud from his own mouth. So the fight began against the rest of his body and its obstinance. Heaving his body up onto its elbows, he looked around, trying to rid himself of the stiffness in his neck. Everything around him was grey. The high walls of squat buildings sat like ugly toads in the middle of town, and the grey speckled pavement dusted with early morning frost, black and damp where Ashley had been asleep. His protruding hip bones ground against the concrete, painting his papery flesh with angry red welts. A few streets away, a siren wailed. Ashley lurched forward onto his unsteady, numb feet, gripping the wall until he had gained control of his ungraceful gait. His heart began to race. It had been like this for days. With shaking hands, he began to search for his pockets for a cigarette to calm the relentless churning of his empty stomach, but his pockets were empty. He didn't curse, though. Yes, he'd been robbed during the night while he slept, but whoever had done it had been so desperate to steal from a man with a gun in his pocket. A gun with a single bullet saved for a single man. The very thought of the bullet churned his stomach as a bloody memory was torn to the surface and made tears sting in his eyes. From a few feet away, he heard footsteps quickly pass him. A man in a cheap suit sneered as he passed, muttering under his breath how people like Ashley revolted him. Looking around the streets, everyone was a perfect version of each other, designed to the very last detail. And there stood Ashley, tall and ungainly, a flaw on the perfection that people gave their lives for. Overhead, the sun fought through the clouds for attention, and Ashley knew he had to go back underground like a rat. And that is one of the first pages of my novel. I will see you all later. Keep writing. It's only day 3 or 4. Keep going. This hasn't stopped. Why obey me?